Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Blitz. Yes, I know this was announced like last week. I get it, but I was on vacation. So I read this while on vacation, I mulled it over, and a week later, here we are. Let's talk about the Blitz format. In my opinion, what may be the most fun format of Flesh and Blood going forward. I don't know, that's just my opinion. Don't hate me on that. That's just how I feel about it. Check it out. If you don't know what Blitz is, if you missed the announcement, Blitz is a new format that Legend Story Studios is releasing for Flesh and Blood that does a few things differently. So for example, instead of a 60-card deck like in Constructed or a 30-card deck like in a limited format like Sealed or Draft, you now have a 40-card deck, and you're not including a sideboard in that. That is your deck, okay? The sideboard, quote unquote, comes into play when we talk about the inventory. So you have 11 inventory slots. That includes both weapons and equipment. Now, 11 seems like a little bit high because if you think about it, you have the head piece, the chest piece, the legs, and the arms. That's 4 equipment slots that we normally have. Then they're also counting weapons. Now, let's say you're playing someone who can dual wield weapons. That is a maximum of 6, yeah, because that's how you hold up 6. That's 6 possible inventory slots that you would need during a game. So why are there 11? Well, I think that's the really interesting part about this format, and it kind of alludes to what we're going to see, obviously, in the next set, Crucible of War, where this set or where this format is going to be supported via. They're obviously allowing you 5 extra equipment slots, which you can bring and then sub things in and out in between matchups, and that to me is super intriguing and interesting. Going on though, not just getting bogged down in one spot, you're going to use the Young Hero card. So you're using the one that has 20 health or 15 health instead of the 40 health or 30 health hero, which is also really cool. And you're only allowed 2 copies of each unique card. So what does that mean? Well, it means this. Let me just pull one of my cards out. Let's say, what is this? Let's say you wanted to play Spellblade Assault, okay? Spellblade Assault yellow. Instead of running 3 of these, you're only allowed to run 2. That's it, right? So it just reduces that cost. That stipulation down from 3 to 2. And then obviously there's, I don't know why I said obviously, it's not obvious, 30 minutes per round, best of 1, instead of what we see in Constructed. Now, why is this cool to me? To me, this is like the perfect mix between Constructed and limited formats. Like, I love playing limited format Flesh and Blood. I think Sealed and Draft are incredibly fun and engaging and create some of the most like exciting games to me. Playing Constructed is fun as well, but to me it doesn't hold up as much as doesn't provide the same feeling that I get from Sealed and Draft. And this, I think, is going to be a perfect marriage of both. I love the fact that we're getting a slimmed down number of cards in a deck, which is cool to me. It allows, if you're running like some fatigue build or something like that where you're trying to like play to the end game, it means that there's less cards to go through. It also means that the deck constrictions make it easier for deck builders or bad deck builders like me to jump in and just throw stuff together because you have less cards to actually put into the deck. And then the sideboard portion, which can be confusing for some, especially those that are new, which is what I've seen from people that have joined the game recently. The sideboard portion is really just relegated to inventory slots, which I think is also really cool because then you can have these cool matchups where, okay, I played this person, I know the next person I'm playing is this class, so I'm going to sub in this new weapon, or I'm going to switch out these 2 equipment pieces. I think that's going to be super awesome. And the games are going to be a lot quicker because there's only 20 health, because they're only 30 minutes per round. Like, I love this. I'm like 98% on board, and I'll tell you about the 2% here in just a moment. But let's take a look at what they said. They were originally going to announce this alongside a fun OP program called Wrath Quest in Q4, and this was going to be supported by what we saw Play Anywhere, their little Play Anywhere thing that they announced, which is sort of like a way of just setting up organized play events whenever you want and wherever you want, hence the name, right? But that was all going to release like in 2021 and later. But because COVID happened, they just pushed everything out forward, which I think is super smart. Why would you not, right? And it makes tons of sense for what the set that we're about to get with they've already spoiled some younger heroes and extra equipment and extra weapons. It makes tons of sense, right? But it's also really good here, which is I like that they mentioned this at all. And it kind of goes along with the fact that they're talking about this OP program and this Play Anywhere thing. If you wanted to play an event at any point, at any place, playing a Blitz tournament would take 4 rounds and 2 hours. And that's awesome. Because again, if you wanted to get people into this game, this is a quick and easy way to fire off a tournament for Flesh and Blood. This format, right? Now I'm kind of interested in the part that they talk about next, because it looks on paper that this Blitz format is sort of lesser than, but I don't think it is. So they say Flesh and Blood is primarily designed for classic constructed booster draft and sealed deck competitive play. Our intention is that these formats will continue to be the focus of competitive play. Blitz serves a different purpose. It offers fast and fun games, which we believe is a really good fit with Play Anywhere social gaming and time constraints some local game stores are operating under. Okay, Blitz will be an officially supported format, including Armory event formats available as on-demand or Play Anywhere format, tailored feature programs such as Wrath Quest, which they're going to postpone because they can't obviously do these international things, which we don't quite know exactly what that's going to look like yet. And then specialty events, which they've talked about very little. Okay, but to me, this is sort of like it's like two things. They're like opposites of each other. They say that Blitz is like the second rung kind of format, but then they say they supported it, and then we see that there's going to be cards in this set that are based on Blitz, or at least that's what I'm interpreting it as. So you may see this and think, oh, Blitz is a format that's just going to be kind of lesser than. I don't think that's the case. I think because they're supporting it this way, and because I think this is going to be a successful kind of event or a successful format, I think we may see Blitz become something a little bit bigger. Maybe that's just my opinion. Here they talk about the restricted list portion, where if there are cards that are a little bit more broken in Blitz format, they're just going to ban them, or not ban them. They're going to reduce their possibility of showing up in a deck. Instead of putting 2 of them in a deck, you can only put 1 of them in a deck. That's basically what they're saying. As of right now, they consider no card to be overpowered enough to earn this sort of restricted list status, where you can only include 1 of them in the deck. You can read that a little bit more on your own if you would like, but that's basically what they're talking about. And now is the most interesting and fun thing. They are allowing, first of all, Ira to be a hero, Ninja Hero Young. And if we look at Ira, this is actually not the same Ira. It's not the same Ira that we have seen in the welcome decks. Let me pull out the welcome deck one. Now, the only way to tell the difference between this Ira that's on the screen and the Ira that I'm holding is by looking at this center area here, Ninja Hero Young versus, well, you probably can't see it very well. It says Ninja Hero on the card down here. So in comparison, not much different, but the fact that the welcome deck is now being included as a possible format play makes me so excited, because I've been like hoping and calling for that, and now it's true. And obviously you could see, because it's different, this is not the same card that you would get in a welcome deck. This is a card that you're going to find in Crucible of War, right? Which again leads me to believe that this isn't a set, or excuse me, this isn't a format that is going to just kind of fall by the wayside. It doesn't feel like a throwaway format. If they're printing things like this, Ninja Hero Young, and look, there's more. There is a 4 intellect, 19 health Brute Hero Young that is included in this set. There's a 3 intellect, 20 health Young Mechanologist, and then there's this crazy one down here, which is a legendary, which looks very similar to what we had talked about in the last video, a 4 intellect, 20 health Shapeshifter Young Hero. The fact that they're including these heroes, which may not be young versions of Dash and Rhinar, these may be different characters. The fact that they're even including them, though, makes me think that this is a format that is here to stay and that it is not lesser than. And I hope that it's a format that other people end up enjoying and picking up and playing tons of, because to me, this seems like a great format. Now, I haven't played it yet, and if you've gotten together with someone and tested this out, you should let me know in a comment below, because I want to know how it went. But I'm very excited for this format. Now, before we wrap this up, let me tell you about the one thing that makes me a little nervous about this format, and it's the Shapeshifter Young Hero. We were actually kind of guessing that if they did include a legendary hero, perhaps it's like a dual class hero, or perhaps it's a hero that can make use of, like a classless hero that can make use of lots of different classes, tools, and abilities at some sort of a detriment. And if we look at the previous Inside the Pack article that Legend Story Studios put on their website, it does look if we look at the bordering here, it does look like this is the card that they were featuring right here. Okay, so we can kind of confirm this wasn't just some like random trick or some like, I gotcha kind of a thing, that this is going to be a card that you can pull one of the 2 legendaries in the Crucible of War set. And if that's the case, I am a little bit worried about what this card can do, about the power level of the card. Because if this becomes like tier 1 material with regards to Blitz format, then we have a problem, because this is a legendary of which are much harder to get from Crucible of War versus the previous sets, because you have to buy more packs in order to pull one of these legendaries, even though there are only 2. So I'm worried about this. If this is a really powerful card, then maybe Blitz format has this weird like power sink where the spike happens if you have this card and everything else is just so far down. That's what worries me about Blitz, is that this could be a format that is really exciting to play unless you play against the person that has Shapeshifter Young Hero here. If that's the case, then we have a problem. But I'm going to assume and hope that that is not the case, and that this may just be like a fun kind of a hero to play around with, maybe pretty decent, but nothing game-breakingly powerful, and that hopefully all of the power levels of all of these heroes are somewhere close to each other. If that's the case, then more power to you. Print a cool, awesome-looking, awesome-playing, legendary Shapeshifter hero. I'm hoping that it can do something silly, like be able to pull, like, you can only build one ofs, right? Maybe your deck is like, you can only put 1 card per anything in your deck, like 1 unique version of that card in your deck, but you can do it from any class, or you can do it from multiple classes. I think that would be really cool. You could do some crazy things, just introduce Singleton to the format. But that's my thoughts on Blitz. What do you think about Blitz? Have you played it yet? What do you think it's going to be like? Let me know in a comment below. If you enjoyed this, give the video a like and a thumbs up. Well, it's the same thing, a like and a thumbs up. Just give the video a thumbs up and subscribe, or whatever people say. As always, everybody, thanks for watching.